Hi, this is Verl Workman. We're excited to be here today with Mike Genstill with eRealInvestor. And I'll tell you what, Mike, it's finally time that somebody came out with a way better calculator. Tell me how eRealInvestor is helping buyers move from thinking about a property to actually making that important move to make the offer and invest in that home.
Thanks, Verl. eRealInvestor has developed the real estate industry's first one-click-away analysis application. And as you see here on this website, where we have these Analyze buttons, we allow you to, as a buyer or a seller or an agent, within one click, start seeing all of the important information that makes this property valuable, either as a primary home or as a property investment. As I click the Analyze button, it brings up this new window with all the information populated in it to help you understand, as a home buyer, what your payments might be, or as an investor, what would make it a cash flow positive property.
You mean I don't have to actually go in and enter all the data, like how much I'm putting down, all that information is actually automatically populated, so I can just click on the Analyze button, and I can see right now it shows me that my payments on this property, they're going to be $979. If I wanted to make it an investment property, it would cash flow if I could rent it out for about $1176. Is that right?
That's right, Verl. We want to save time for you, the buyer, or the seller, to help a seller understand what a property might be worth. And so this is exactly what we've done. You don't have to manually input the information. So if I click OK, it now allows me to look at this property and compare and contrast payment scenarios under different interest rate and down payment scenarios. So I will close this instructional box. And now you can see that what we're looking at are a couple of charts on the bottom, which include my equity in the property over time, my pre-tax payments, and then my post-tax payments, assuming I'm getting the interest deduction on at the end of the year on my taxes. Now, if I want to compare a couple of different scenarios in terms of down payment, I can do that as well, and let me show you how. So I will show you two scenarios, and let's call them an aggressive scenario with a 10% down payment compared to a conservative scenario with a 20% down payment, as you see over here. Now, in the 10% down payment case, I can see that my payments pre-tax are $1,086 compared to, in the conservative case where I have 20% down, at $978. And of course, post-tax, I'm getting an interest deduction. So if I get that tax credit back at the end of the year, in the 10% down payment case, I'm at $817 versus $739 in the post-tax case.
So I could be talking to my lender. He could give me different financial scenarios, and instead of waiting for him to give me what the numbers are going to be, I could quickly just move that slider to say, hey, if I only put 5% down or if I put 15% down, how would that affect my payments and what my equity would be in the property over time as well.
That's right. You can move these sliders in real time, see how changes in interest rate or down payment will affect some of the other variables that you're looking at in terms of payments, et cetera. So you can see the slider moving and then the bars moving as well. So it's a great way to determine affordability.
People have a tendency to overcomplicate the whole process of evaluating whether or not they should make a purchase or how much they should offer on a property. And this tool makes it so easy for the realtor as well as the potential buyer to quickly go in and say, look, if we made an offer of $173, what would it do to our payments? I love it. I love the fact that it's so simple, it's all graphic, and I can use slider balls without even having to type anything in to get my numbers. That's
right. Now, the next question that a buyer may have is, well, what if I decide to rent this property at some point? Somebody may want to buy it as an investment up front, or they may want to live in it for a number of years and then rent it. So we actually allow you to click this rent button up here that says the purchase type is now rent. And under that scenario, we can see what my cash flow is in my equity in my rate of return over this time that I'm holding the property of 10 years. And of course, I can change that assumption as well. So as you can see here, this property in this case is going to be cash flow positive of $104 if I put 10% down, or $186 if I put 20% down. But of course, this depends on a number of assumptions, including rent and vacancy rate and maintenance and many other variables.
You know, Mike, one of the things that I've struggled with as I've tried to decide whether or not to invest in a property is how do you know how much that's going to rent for? I mean, we could put $1,400 as monthly rent in, but you know, how do I know that that's what I could get out of this property?
Well, that's a great question. And so what we're doing is we actually are pulling in live rental comp listings, and you see this button here that says comps next to monthly rent. If I click on that button, it's pulling in actual live rental listings in this area. And I can now sort through these different rental listings. And we're starting with 0 bedrooms, going down to 1 bedrooms, and of course the property that I'm looking at buying is a 4 bedroom, so I need to come all the way down here to look at the 3 bedrooms and 4 bedrooms to see what they might rent for. And then if I actually...
I'm not seeing a lot of $1,400 rentals.
That's right. Well, there's a couple here. Here's one for $2,300. So perhaps depending on the actual location of this property, maybe it's a gem in this neighborhood. And so I'm able to click through on that listing and see this particular listing, and I might want to be able to call that property manager and ask them about the property that I'm looking at buying.
How accurate is your rental data?
Our rental data is coming directly from live rental listings on the web, so it's perfectly accurate. That as a buyer of a potential investment property, you need to get comfortable with that particular property in that particular location. So in this case, I might call this number here, 866-450-5102, and talk to them about this property, and then ask them about my property here that I was looking at purchasing.
That is so awesome that that data is right there at our fingertips.
We're finding that this is a sticky application for users, and it drives the user then to engage with the agent and call the agent to find out more about the property.
Now, Mike, I see that you've got, there's some advertising on here. You've got the eRealAnalyzer in there. As an agent, I'd like to brand this and make it more my own product so that people feel like I'm providing this great service. Is that something that I could, that we could add to this, the service?
That's right. So as an online software application, everything you see is customizable. So we can pull down all of these advertisements. We can have the realtor's logo or branding up here and put your photo and contact info in here as well. So here's an example of that. This is another one of our partners who has adopted this product. And you can see that we have their logo up here. It says New Homes Realty. And then we have this particular realtor's logo and name and contact info. And if they want to have a contact agent button here, we can do that as well. And then all these ads can be removed very simply.
That's awesome. Okay, so how do I play with the tool? If I want to just come in and play with it, is there a website I can go to play about it? And how do I get more information on some of the upgraded features that are available with eRealInvestor?
Sure. So you can go to eRealInvestor.com, and that's where you can take a test drive of the product. You can send an email to partner@eRealInvestor.com. and contact us about your particular needs. And it's very easy for us to be up and running within a matter of an hour to get the Analyze button on your website so you too can offer this capability to your clients.
Well, I think it's not only is it a great service, I think it's a critical service in today's buyer's market. More and more buyers are looking at properties from an investment perspective. They want the real data so they can make their decisions quickly, and you finally come up with a tool that gives them everything they need to be able to move forward and make that all-important offer, and that's where everybody wants to move that client. So great job with eRealInvestor. Looking forward to seeing more and more great tools from your cool company.
Thanks, Earl. Thanks for the time.